So with that, it's time for our questions and answers. I think how we should facilitate this, since there are no questions that came on the chat box, is if you want to ask a question in person, then perhaps just raise your hand and I'll give you that attention. If there's nobody, then I will go through the questions that were asked in the registration. So I'm going to get that ready in the meantime, but if anybody's got a verbal question, please raise your hand and then we'll unmute you and you can ask the question. Okay, I think with that, I'm going to go through the questions here that I would not be able to answer myself, but I'm going to leave it up to Kobus, Christian, and Adrian. So the first one was from Ian Thompson, and it was about the use of the SX10 in monitoring and the integration with T4D. Is this a possibility?
So maybe that's a question for me, I guess.
Good, thanks.
So SX10 support is, let's say, one of the focus areas right now, yes. So it's not possible at the moment. It's not part of the latest version, T4D 6.0. Otherwise, yeah, I would have definitely highlighted it on one of the slides. So, but still, and again, so this has priority. So, yeah, this is
excellent.
This is in our focus area right now.
That's great. Thank you for confirming, Christian.
You're welcome.
The next question is by Jack. I don't see him in attendance, but perhaps for the sake of the recording, he wanted to know about Trimble monitoring
Jack is in attendance. Sorry, Jack is in attendance.
Jack, are you there? Excellent. So tell me, Jack, based on the presentations that you've seen, have your questions been answered about visualization?
Really, it has been greatly touched, because I wanted to know what is new to what we already knew about T4D. But it looks like there are some great things that are coming with this latest version.
Excellent, Jack. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
All right. I've got an interesting question here from Lazarus, who's also stated that he's unemployed. So if anybody on the line would like to offer him a job, let's do that. But he has asked about the use of drones in mining, specifically deformation monitoring in the survey and mining environment compared to non-mining environment. From my side, dealing with geospatial and dealing with the drones, I would say that they're not ideal for monitoring, apart from just the visual aspect in terms of ortho photos, perhaps progress photos, and so on. To the other presenters, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. They just currently lack the accuracy in any photogrammetric or that style of point cloud generation is quite tricky to pull out decent comparisons down to millimeter level. So at the moment, it's not an active method for monitoring down to that level of precision. It certainly can be used for doing comparisons into, pre-failure, post-failure, etc., for evaluating the total volume loss, but not as a preemptive monitoring tool at this stage.
That makes sense. Yeah, I agree. All right. The next question is about the instruments that we presented on. Are they approved for use in coal mines or restricted to metal mines only? And I guess this has to do perhaps with intrinsic safety and so forth.
Yeah, correct. So in an underground environment, they're not intrinsically safe, but certainly open cast mining, they're actively used in those environments.
Excellent. And then the last listed question, any information on prisms maintenance with specific focus on the best or ideal cleaning practices? challenges experienced on any of your case studies regarding PRISM monitoring, i.e. inaccessible prisms and how they were resolved. And perhaps this is a case for drones and surveying with a crop sprayer drone and a nice window cleaner.
But perhaps, yes. Yeah. There is a very quick and easy solution which prevents, well, I shouldn't say doesn't prevent, but it reduces the maintenance required on prisms, and that is to install them facing ever so slightly down, so just off 90 degrees down, and also with a little rain hood or dust hood over them. It prevents dust from collecting in the lip of the prism, which does build up, and water can also build up and dust can stick to it. So if the optics of the prism is designed to always return the signal directly back to the instrument. So there's no strict requirement to install the prism to exactly face the instrument. It's obviously a good idea that it faces the instrument, but if it's turned slightly off 90 downwards, it dramatically improves the longevity of that prism against maintenance.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, open to anybody in attendance. Any more questions? I think with that, thank you very much for everybody in attendance. Thank you for your time. Thank you to the presenters. And I'd also just like to highlight that you could follow Optron on these various social media platforms. Specifically, LinkedIn is good for interaction, but we've also got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course our website, optron.com. Once again, thank you very much. And I see there's somebody raised his hand. You're welcome to unmute and ask a question.
Mine is not a question per se. I was just asking if we can have the access to the recording of the session so that we can later go through it again and try to get that deep understanding of what has been presented and even share with our teams at our respective sites.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a great question, and this session was recorded, and we will definitely distribute it to everybody, even to those guys who weren't in attendance. And when they watch the recording, thank you for your time and watching the recording as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a pleasant afternoon.